Radiohead, Let Down, off OK Computer. Apparently we missed a gig on that gig guide. Drip Feed are playing the Rock Garden on the 21st of this month.
Excellent.
So, the lead singer just called in for that. He also, left a quote with me, apparently, Coleridge said of Keats, wasn't it? He's, like an archangel slightly damaged.
Rick, I'm worried we're getting a little bit highbrow.
Do you reckon?
Have you got any knob gags you could do, quickly? Because I'm just thinking we're switching, there's a lot of people who are going to be turning off. I mean, currently on Capital FM, Chris Tarrant and Dr. Neil Fox, together at last. The partnership we've always
they
wanted.
said it would never happen. Do you know what I'd like to see together? That breakfast DJ, Sarah
Cox.
and who's the dancer? Just Carl.
That'll be Carl Cox.
Carl, please, why are you suddenly saying these rude words? We've been reprimanded once,
don't
Carl,
say
please.
that, and don't say it so aggressively, because it sounds like you're saying Cox aggressively.
Come on, we've been reprimanded.
Yeah.
Alright? Just don't use language like that,
That's
okay?
annoying me.
Come on.
Why is it annoying you? We're talking about DJs, that's their names.
But you try to be clever.
I hardly think that's clever.
You've given it a
Yeah, if that's my best attempt at being clever.
I've got rubbish homework this week.
Okay, he's really upset about
Really
this.
upset.
He was looking forward to animal fat.
You said you were going to bring in that big book, 500.
It's so... I got it off one of those bargain books.
Oh,
I thought
what?
it'd be easy, right? Because but it's too elementary.
No, but that's more useful than that to me.
But it's things like the tortoise has a shell to protect it.
That's good.
Yeah, but you know...
Because you thought it was there just to be painted on the tip.
Oh, have you ever peeled a tortoise? They fly, they go about 400 miles an hour. It's to weigh them down because they're the fastest lizards known to man.
Exactly.
Honestly, they run so fast they can go through walls.
Yeah.
And so their shells put on them in the hospital, in the maternity ward, at a very early age, just slow them down. You let a tortoise shout and you won't catch it.
Steve, do you know that turtles can breathe out the bum?
Turtles can breathe out of their bum. I know someone who can talk out of it, but didn't realise that.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that. How do they do
That's
that?
it, that's all I know. They go, when they go swimming, they can sort of, if they don't want to stick their head out, they can just...
Stick their arse out.
Why don't they want to stick their head out?
Just if, I don't know, maybe they need to be looking for food under the water.
Yeah.
And if they stick their head up to get some air, they might miss something.
Wouldn't it be easier to have an arse that could forage for food? So they could sort of like lounge in the pool like a jacuzzi, and they're looking around going, alright, hello, hiya, and meanwhile its arse is like munching grass.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be easier?
Bad breath.
Well,
I wish I understood what that meant.
yeah.
In all this
it's like a
hilarity,
quote, isn't it?
but in all that this hilarity, I'm worried we've forgotten the true meaning of Easter. No, come on, Rick, come on, you're just, you're being frothy and lightweight and a little bit rude, but it's a time for remembering.
And chocolate.
That, someone did die for our sins.
Yeah.
So can we just,
Be ashamed to disappoint him.
yeah, can we just think about that and just take a moment just to consider that?
Yeah, can we do that?
Alright. Okay?
Yeah.
You understand the true meaning of Easter, it's not just about eggs and bunnies, you understand it, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your memory of it? What's your understanding of it, Carl?
Then what do you-
Easter, what's it all about for you?
What did you have to do at school? Did you have to do anything at school?
I think we got a long weekend off.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they call that weekend?
Easter weekend.
Brilliant.
Okay, and what was the reason for that? Why do we have Easter weekend off?
Jesus.
Yeah, but what did he do?
He put himself on the cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, he didn't put himself on.
no.
Does it mean anything to you? Are you moved by that story?
Again, too long ago for me to sort of,
Okay. To worry
relate to
about
it.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, if there'd have been an Anderson shouter involved,
Yeah.
you'd have been there, wouldn't you? You're not well today, are you, Carl?
Not at all. Don't know
No.
what's wrong with me today. I've got a bit of a temperature.
Have you?
Do you know Steve, he's always on the go at me. Last night when we were out with his mates,
Yeah.
they said he's a bit of a hypochondriac himself.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they say? What were they saying?
He said, I said, Steve's told me he's not feeling well. Is he alright? You live with him? He said, oh, don't worry about that.
Really?
He's always saying that, and I said, that's a bit of a fable. I said, cry wolf.
Yeah. One day they say I've got a temperature, and they go, oh, I've had the Lemsip, and he'll die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've learnt my lesson.
Yeah. There was one about the boy who cried wolf. The moral can surely only be never tell the same lie twice. You know what I mean? Because if he'd have come up with a different one, he'd have kept them going all year, I reckon.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that before.
What are we gonna play?
A final tune. Have we got, we got a bit of Suede, haven't we?
Well, it depends.
Let's get a bit of Suede in and song for the ladies. Let's go over.
You can't.
What is it?
ladies is very short.
It's only the football.
Don't say that. Yeah, give us your song.
What's the football? What's the match? What's this? The gig guide is Long Wave and Guapo and Plankers. What's this? What's the football match? What are the football matches XFM covering?
Don't know. What
Come on.
song would you like?
Track 8.
So Bolton versus Barnsley.
You don't like sport though, do you? A lot
Well-
of people who do.
Huh?
A lot of people who do. Right, track 8, what are we going for then?
We're going for, it's a bit of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah?
And, I think it's quite a short song though, Carl. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's cool, yes.
It's okay, you're okay, are you?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the final song,
This lost a lot of energy, this show.
This is it.
I mean, the first hour and 40 minutes, I think, was dynamite. I think the last 10 have been,
But I
flagging.
think Carl, he was full of life, you know, he was answering the questions and stuff, and now
And he got fed up with the quotations. He didn't like us mentioning, Radio 1 DJs, such as Sarah
Cox.
and Carl.
Oh, Cox?
Yeah, he didn't like that.
Which gets us on to Educating Ricky.
Oh, excellent, slick.
We've had a good year of stuff, teaching
We have,
stuff.
yeah, I've learned a lot.
Can you remember any of the
Of course I
highlights?
can. There was a deaf girl and she hit her head and she could hear.
Yeah.
There was also some people who ate tomatoes thought they were poisonous on lead. There was also a doctor who gave a blood transfusion with some parrots from the pet store.
Yeah.
Because the doctor in America, and it was the olden days when the lines were bad, said give him his parents' blood, and the doctor this side thought said give him some parrot's blood. So that was true, and that educated me.
That was facts. What have you got for us?
Well, we've only got 2 because I've taught you about jellyfish today that we need them. So we've only got two things to go at, and I give them a little headline so you remember them to make them snappy. The 2 headlines you've got: oh, what a catastrophe.
Okay.
And the second one is, well, you'd think it'd be Bughead, wouldn't you?
What?
Well, you'd think it'd be Bughead, wouldn't you?
You'd think it beat
No, you'd think it'd be.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be Buggered, wouldn't you?
Bughead.
Bughead.
This can't be. If this is anything with a bug living without a head, I'm not interested because we've done it. All you've done is
Well, let's just do what a cat.
So it is that. Well, do that
give
one
us the
first.
Bughead one.
Which one? Which one are we
No,
doing?
do the bughead one.
Right. Well, the Bughead one. Well, we've talked a lot about animals and that, haven't we, without heads.
Surprisingly, we have. I think a disproportionate amount on it.
If you're a new listener and this is the first time you listen, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, we've done all that. We've covered worms. The way if you cut their head off, it grows back. If you don't cut too high above its neck. We've covered
The chicken.
the fella who blinked.
Yeah. I can't go into it again.
Right.
Let's not go into it again.
We've had the chicken with no head that lived for
Yeah.
8 months.
Yeah.
And we've had
And we've had the
cockroaches.
cockroaches living for a week without an head.
Right, okay.
Well, it's a bit more on the cockroach front, really.
Right.
They found, right, that if you get a cockroach
Yeah.
and you cut its head off,
Yeah.
right, and then you find a cockroach that's still got its head, but it hasn't got any legs,
Right.
right, it's not over for both of them, right? Because what you can do, you get the one that's got the legs
Right.
with no head, sort of running around, get the one with the head, sit it on top of it,
Right.
get a little tube,
Okay.
so that the fluids.
So is this auntie's go out of the
Let him
room?
finish.
This is like Blue Peter.
Let him
You could get this for Christmas.
Right, you get
Yeah.
a little tube, you sit that on top so the bodily fluids are still running between the two.
Right.
The head of the one on the top will control the feet of the one on the bottom.
Okay.
What about
Good.
And, will it continue to live?
that? Yeah.
Okay, you don't know that for sure, do you?
No, that was just a
No,
question out of the blue he wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's good, yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's just a primitive nervous system that can, yeah.
Did you expect us to be more impressed and excited by that? Did you fall off your chair when you read that? Did you literally topple off? Going,
Did
"Whoa," like a
you
cartoon?
think you were going to be the Frankenstein of the insect world?
Yeah.
No, I just was thinking if they can do that, you know,
With them, can they do it with
humans? Because I also did a bit of research
course
on.
you did.
Did you come to the sort of conclusion that apart from the moral aspect of it, that the human was probably more complicated than?
Yeah, but Do you know what I mean? Things move on, don't they? Do you know what I
Modern
mean?
science, Rick.
You know, I had Binatone as a kid. Now they've got PlayStation 2, and the difference in 10 years
They
is
have
amazing.
found that if you lose your head, a cockroach can live normally on your body, but not the other way round. Your head on it cannot control its legs because it's too complicated
It's
for
too
your
confusing.
brain. So, yeah.
Well, then other research, because I thought if you don't learn from that, I'll give you something else for free, right?
Go on.
Free. That they can clone people. The only reason they don't do it, right? Say if like Ricky needed a lung, right? They could clone you and make you the same. But the only reason they don't want to do it is because it'd be a bit horrible, wouldn't it? So
And it would take sort of 18 years for me to get an adult lung.
And there's all kinds of moral implications.
yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? You hadn't thought of that?
So sorry, because lest we forget, Rick, he ended with the only reason they don't do it is because it's a bit horrible and that. Which scientist said that?
Right, let's leave
That's a
that then.
quote.
Right. That's
No,
not it. That's not the other one.
That's it.
no, that was just, you know,
We've got another one to come.
Oh, I
Teach us
can't wait.
the headline again. What was the headline?
the headline, oh, what a catastrophe.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, a bit more counsel. This is from his covers album. This is called Snowbird.
He's so happy that the XFM listeners understand his stupid clues, and he knows it annoys me.
We've got some right
we'll
answers
be
for
giving out the
Blockbusters.
answers just quickly, just in case someone sort of missed one of them. I'll just quickly do them, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
First one, there's a load
Your
of letters.
show.
There's a load of letters there asking for advice. Put them on Claire's desk.
Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Ask your mum if you should.
Oh, and Merry Christmas.
And a couple of people were arguing in the supermarket.
It was
at the fruit
Christmas,
and
that's
veg
why.
counter. And that's B.
Okay, we'll give those answers out shortly.
Yeah.
I just have to show you something, Rick, before we move on. I know we've got another Educating Ricky, but someone just sent this in. They've been looking on eBay for Victoria Plum.
You're joking?
Come here and see the photograph.
Oh, God, that's fantastic. Hold on. Have a look.
That's it.
Oh, God, he's got that for his mum.
It's the worst piece of tat I've ever seen.
Carl! Carl. Imagine how... Oh,
Gutted.
Carl. Imagine how... Look, think of him now, right?
There it is.
That's the worst thing I've ever seen. I'll tell you, it looks like a Diddy man gone wrong.
It's
it looks like
extraordinary.
a Diddy man prostitute. That is...
Is that the one, Carl? Is that...
Well, it was a different colour. It had a yellow at mine.
No, but look, how do they get... Tell them they
Okay, so,
going to eBay.
So you need to log on to ebay.co.uk. I'm sure you've used it before. It's the online marketplace, ebay.co.uk. And if you type in Victoria Plum, I'm assuming that you can track this
yeah,
down.
That's amazing.
It's the worst piece of
Oh,
rubbish
just
I've ever
think
seen.
how cute he was as a kid, though, doing that. Just think of him, just going... just seeing that and thinking, oh, like, he likes gnomes! It's the worst thing I've ever seen!
I mean, to be fair, I don't know what her prize collection of gnomes looks like, but I can't imagine they're much better than that. I mean, gnomes are a fairly grotesque thing. But certainly your mum's taste and discretion is...
Did you ever, those houses on your estate, you'd go in there and it was just loads of those dolls still in their packaging all around the room? And sort of like, one of those homes that keeps the, sort of packaging on the three-piece suite.
Why don't you buy another one for her for Christmas?
Yeah.
Just
It's $3.99. It looks like that's £2.49 because that was $3.99.
well.
Oh, buy it, Carl.
No, 'cause I've sorted out her passport this year anyway. I'll get her that next year. Right, so listen, right?
Okay.
So, last Educating Ricky of the year.
Oh, Christ.
What a cat toast.
Yeah, let's do that then. Victoria Plum.
There's this woman, right?
Yeah.
This woman, she's reading Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah.
And she's flicking through.
Yeah.
And she notices that there's a world record for a cat, right, with 27 toes, right? So she reads it and she thinks, well, that's not right, because her cat's got 28.
What do you mean your cat's got 28?
Her cat's got 28 toes. So she was like, well, hang on a minute, mine should be in there. So there was
I
like...
missed the very beginning of this.
She was...
She's looking through the Guinness Book of Records.
Oh,
Sees the
woman.
record.
A woman was looking through the Guinness Book of
The
Records.
woman with the cat with 28 toes looking
Right.
through, and it said the record for the cat's toes was 27. She thought, hold on. Hold on a minute, Ross McWhirter. My cat's got one more than that cat, so go on.
Anyway, so she said, you know, the person doing the interview with her said, you know, is it happy? And she said, yeah, you know, it's great, and it's really good in the snow.
Right. It gets through a lot of nail varnish.
Well, you know, that's what it said, right? It said it's really good in the snow. So, I just was thinking, I mean, that's it, really.
That's not it.
That's the end of that story. But
Brilliant.
But what I'm thinking is, right...
It was two cats welded together.
No, she said, you know, it's happy. So, is the other sort of disabilities where, in a way, it's not all bad?
Oh, Christ.
No, do you know, like, that book Steve brought in for me? And there was a fella there, wasn't he, who had 3 legs, who was a juggler. And I was like, what's the point of that?
What do you mean, what's the point of that? What's the point
Well,
of
he's
what?
not taking advantage of having 3 legs, is he, being a juggler?
Yeah, he said he should be a footballer.
Right? So... no, but in a way, he's used it, hasn't he? He's probably not even that good at juggling. But because he's got 3 legs, people have gone, well, I'll give him a chance. Let's go and see him anyway, see if he's any good.
Yeah.
Right? So, what I'm thinking is there anything else? We've mentioned, the midgets today who are good at robbing cars. Because they can get through the windows like Dukes of Hazzard.
Sorry, so listen, look, I'd just like to say, this is the Radio Authority listening, we are in no way suggesting that one midget's forte in life is robbing cars, or that if you're a midget sitting at home feeling sorry, I think you should go out robbing cars. I'd just like to say, this is Karl Pilkington talking.
The views of Karl Pilkington not necessarily reflect those of XFM or us.
Yeah, but it was a TV programme, so it's not me, I'm just saying what I've seen on
That
telly.
you didn't see?
That somebody told me about.
Yeah, just so you could be wrong, just like a lot of your spurious facts that you just see on the internet, you know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else? We've seen the fella with 3 legs.
So what you're saying is there a disability that is actually an advantage?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Steve mentioned about the disabled loo. They're always really roomy and like got multi-gym facilities in them.
Multi-gym facilities!
No, do you know what I mean?
Multi-gym facilities! What do you mean, Karl?
There's always bars everywhere and that, isn't there?
That's not parallel bars.
Yeah,
That's
they
to help
don't
them
do
get up.
gymnastics!
What in there working
Yeah,
out?
but I'm just saying though, do you know what I mean? So in a way, they've got that. So, always, what I'm saying is, when you look on the brighter side, it's like Elephant Man would have never got up and gone, oh, look at me hair today. He would have,
Nor do you!
no, but, do you know what I mean? He would never have that problem.
You're a maniac.
Forget it. I thought we'd be able to get a serious discussion going here.
Well, okay then. So this is a serious discussion, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's treat it sensitively then. If you really want a serious discussion and talk about whether there are some disabilities that are an advantage, let's think of some then, shall we?
Well, I've said 3 already.
Yeah. You can't say if you're deaf, Bobby Davro won't annoy you. That doesn't count as an advantage. Do you understand? Do you know what I mean?
Karl's looking at you thinking, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, well, we'll leave it then. I'll come up with a better feature for next year.
Oh.
We'll bin that.
So,
If you've got any
we've
disabilities...
been that like that was going to be a feature.
What, you were hoping that would be a spin-off feature? Disabilities that are actually
Well, it's
an
another
advantage.
form of do we need them? It's like...
But that's Karl, think of it, it's like that joke, a bloke that, as he wakes up in hospital, says, good news and bad news. Bad news is we've had to amputate both legs. What's the good news? The fella in the next bed wants to buy your slippers. See, that's not an advantage. It's a joke. That doesn't really happen. People don't go, oh, that is good news. Yeah, I'll probably get a quid from him. Do you know what I mean?
But the fellow with 3 feet, what would he do?
Well, he'd buy a pair and then just nick one of those because they put out one shoe, don't they? Are those, yeah, if you've got one leg, you can nick shoes. Good point,
Right,
Karl.
now I'm getting you thinking.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll do Rockbusters Answers next then.
Happy Christmas, war's over and all that.
Indeed, yeah.
Brilliant tune.
Great tune. And
Well,
lovely sentiments.
I've had a great time. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope we haven't offended you by some of Karl's rantings. Just think of what he's gone through in his life. That Victoria Plum incident.
Karl, I've got a little gift for you here before we go.
Oh, you're joking. I haven't got you anything.
Well, no, I don't, you haven't got your girlfriend anything. I wasn't expecting much. It's not exciting, but it's worth taking. In fact, why don't you just re-gift that straight away?
It's alright, cheers for that.
He hasn't even looked at it.
Champagne.
That's not the champagne we got free from the BBC, is it?
It's not actually, no, Rick, because that is far too good for the likes of Karl.
Oh, right.
And I wasn't going to do it, so you wouldn't appreciate it. That's just sparkling wine.
Oh,
you know?
brilliant. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he doesn't know the difference.
I'm seeing Karl on Christmas Day, because, he's around Christmas Day in London, so I'll get a little gift then, Karl.
Right.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? It'd be a nice little...
Okay, answers. We must give the answers.
You would have to go to bed at 6 though, so we can play.
So, can we finish there now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you mean? What do you mean, can we finish there now?
Just play the ads and go.
What? No, what are you talking about? We're going to play Johnny Nicholas
Play
all day.
that then.
Goodness me, Carl, look at you.
We haven't got time.
Merry Christmas, Carl. Merry
Yeah,
Christmas,
yeah.
Carl.
Enjoy the cinema.
Let's give him a little kiss.
Oh,
a little kiss.
Oh, no,
With tongues, it's Christmas.
Stop messing about. Get off!
Wow. You're getting celebrities asking you questions now, Carl. That's David Bowie. Is there life on Mars? Do you reckon?
I reckon there's more going on than just us messing about. I reckon.
I hope so.
I think.
Tell Steve your problem that you aired to me.
Well, do you know how, like, I'm always thinking about stuff when I'm washing up?
I'm just going to look at Steve for the reaction when this question comes out. Okay.
There's been a few things I've been thinking about. Do you know, like, how I try to confuse a computer by putting in Y in the search engine?
Yeah.
So, along the lines of that, I was thinking in the week, if you put a chameleon on a mirror, what would happen? Right. and also, this is a bit of a bigger issue. We're always making more and more stuff, right? In the world, you know, big buildings, big planes, big boats, and that. Will we ever get to a point where all this is too heavy for the world to handle?
Right, what error has he made there, Steve? What physical, scientific error has he made there with that question?
I can't begin to explain it.
Carl, we're not getting the rocks from other planets. It's already here. It's like having a big pile of books in a room and then moving them over to the other side of the room and building a thing going, oh, can the room take it? I'm building a lot of things out of these books.
What about plastic? Where's that come from?
Other chemicals that existed on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you see the point?
Hang on a minute, though. What about a little tree? You plant that's an acorn, it grows, Rick. That's bigger. That's more stuff.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him, Carl. He's patronising
What
you.
about acorns and that, though?
Right, they grow from minerals and proteins already in our atmosphere or in our the mass of Earth.
What about a cat, Carl? Right, you get it. It's a very tiny kitten, but it grows up and it's bigger.
Carl, he's doing it on purpose.
Elephants. baby
Elephants, they're very small to begin with, but they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so they get heavier and heavier.
Mind you, dinosaurs have gone.
You know, but you, but you know that's famously that's how Atlantis disappeared. You know, you've heard of the legend of Atlantis. Have you heard of the legend of Atlantis?
I think so.
This was a city that existed. It's proven, right? And what happened was they just kept buying stuff in mail order. They just kept ordering stuff, like the king and stuff. Just kept ordering stuff in mail order. He brought girls across,
Carpets,
you know,
lot of carpets.
Carpets. He kept buying TV set, big screen TVs and stuff like that. And eventually,
He bought up all the myrrh that the wise men didn't want.
yeah, he just because he's from like olden times, and he just kept buying stuff, crazy. Like he was just a shopaholic, basically.
Mental it was.
And he was ludicrous. It was like, and in the
was
end,
too
it just
heavy.
sunk. It just sunk.
Too heavy.
And it just sunk.
So, to the Earth, the more planes we build, the more trees we let grow
Yeah.
from acorns.
And more than that, what about all the people who are overeating?
There's only there's only
You
one
know,
thing
your Rick
to do.
Wallers in this world.
I think we've got to kill off endangered species and burn trees. That's the only way the Earth can survive. You mental. Right, what are you doing?
Rockbusters?
Is it that time?
It is
Yeah.
indeed. Last week, of course, it was a disaster.
Yep, every Saturday at 16 minutes to 2, we do Rockbusters.
I have to say that I've not really gone through them, but the prizes look exactly the same as they were last week.
Yeah.
There's that T-shirt.
So it's a
There's
rollover,
still-
but you haven't added to it.
Have you not?
The
added
point of a
anything to
rollover
this?
is you've got to add to it. That's the excitement.
Yeah,
not
there's a couple of albums that were.
Okay, well, it's also
Okay.
the Fools and Horses video with the free.
I don't think I'm bloody jealous of that. I like that little yellow thing.
It's a little. There's a little kind of model three-wheeled van.
Rodney, you plonker.
Oh, dude.
What's that?
This is what looks to be some kind of best of the stereo MCs.
Don't call me a plonker, you wanker.
The David Attenborough DVD collection.
Oh, the hunk shit himself again.
Oh yeah, the big prize that we tried to give away now. Best chill out album. Who is that supposed to be an impression of? Which member of the cast is that?
Oh,
Is that Cheeky Dell?
I don't know.
Best chill out album ever, the best air
Brilliant.
guitar volume 2, and of
Brilliant.
course for all our fans, Doctor Who, The Aztecs. That's on DVD, and that's one of the William Hartnell Doctor Who. Alright. That's the worst impression I've ever heard. That's brilliant.
Right, but then.
Right, three cryptic stuff. Oh, come on.
Right.
Rodney,
Three. I can't do it.
No, come on!
Right, three cryptic clues.
some of which may be wrong.
Yeah, and don't take the letters literally.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
Wars in Iraq,
But I don't
terrorism,
need
it doesn't
to
mention
now.
anything.
But that's all being wrote about anyway. If you're saying there's a museum that's keeping everything, there's loads of other books for that. Who's looking at the fella whose skulls fell off?
What?
We see. It's interesting, isn't it?
What do you mean the fellow whose skulls fell off?
Well, that's what happened the other week, so I wrote about it.
What?
A fella's skull has fell off.
What do you mean his skull has fell off?
It's something to do with circulation.
But what do you mean his skull fell
Well,
off?
it's in the diary. We
But
might
how
look
can
at
a
the diary.
skull fall off? Because it's surrounded by tissue and it's got a brain. How can just his skull? How can it detach itself from all the stuff surrounding
He
it?
mislaid all his dreams.
But all I'm saying is that's not getting a look in.
No, because it's not significant or probably true.
Good point, Steve.
I don't.
All right.
know
Well,
what's
let me
anything
just.
based on.
I'll just consult the diary quickly and find the moment with the man whose skull fell off. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Looks like the world's fattest man is having an operation to get rid of some of the fat.
Yeah.
He has to have an iron bed because that's the only thing that can hold his weight.
Yeah.
There's also a man whose skull has fell out. He's in hospital somewhere. I hate that. It would make me panic. The hospital is busy with people coming in to look at their head.
What are you talking about there? That tells us nothing. Right, it's impossible for a skull to fall out.
It
How are
hasn't-
scholars in 10,000 years going to be... What are they going to decipher from that?
They can sort of go.
There's not enough incident detail.
But how did his skull fall out?
Circulation problems.
But answer the question. How did his skull fall out? Fall out of what?
He was at home, and I don't know if he was combing his hair or something, but it come off.
What did?
His skull.
What do you mean, his skull? Do you know what the skull is?
It's a part of the head.
Well, no, it's the structure of the head. It's the bone. Do you mean the top of the skull?
This is only useful if you have all the salient facts. Then it would be of interest to us. We could.
Well, I couldn't take that on. I'm busy. I'm not going to start looking into stuff in depth. Just get the details.
God. You're such an idiot. You are the best, idiot in the world. Coldplay, Yellow on XFM 104.9. Get it on DVD. It's an embarrassment. £7 worth of old video, pan and scanned.
I've bought it now. That's what they're getting. Right.
He's put a downer on it. All the work, that went into that, and then just gonna fob them off with a bit of old celluloid like that.
Now listen, still to come, right? We've got the monkeys thing.
Ooh, chimpanzee that.
And when I was out last Sunday, right, at Johnny's birthday party,
Yeah.
Steve was there.
Yeah.
Got talking about stuff, and a debate that we didn't really finish cropped up.
It blew your mind, didn't it?
Amazing.
Oh, I know about this. Steve told me. This is the infinite amount of monkeys. Or a monkey with a typewriter and an infinite amount of time would eventually come up with the works of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
There was no debate. It's a philosophical, mathematical problem. There's no debate. It's true.
It wouldn't happen.
No, listen, Carl, listen. Infinity sorts it all out for you, right? An infinite amount of monkeys at a typewriter, right? They do everything. They type everything. Infinity just sorts it all out for you. There's no getting to it and they're going, oh well, let's have a look what they've done. This one's come close. Did Romeo and Juliet. It would do it all. It would type everything ever possible, conceivable.
Yeah, but
It's a mathematical thing.
Well,
Infinity
we've
sort-
heard your side of the argument, really. And I'll be honest with you, it's a persuasive one. But let's hear Carl, because he heard about this in a pub last week.
Yeah,
so
what's your
he's got some
problem?
strong
What's your
ideas
problem with
himself.
it? What's your problem with it?
well, first of all, right, You're saying it's a load of monkeys. It's not just one monkey that
Depends.
can live forever.
No, wait. It's either a chimpanzee with a typewriter with an infinite amount of time. He would eventually, by definition, mathematically, type everything ever possible. Okay, or it's an infinite amount of chimps with typewriters, and one of them will type it first time.
But already, that's not right. You either need to have
What do you mean? What you mean?
let's hear his
Employment
point.
laws.
He
What do you mean
can't-
it's not right?
Let's hear him out, please.
If it's one monkey
Yeah.
with a typewriter that's got loads of ink in it and that, right? At least it knows what it's done in the past.
It's not.
Keep going.
Cry.
If you've got a load of monkeys, it's like if you have too many. What's that saying about too many chefs?
Too many chimps spoil the soup.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I didn't tell you to put salt in it. I was going to put salt in it, and it messes it up. Whereas if it's just one, they know what's gone on. So what I'm saying is,
honestly,
Just leave him go.
I can't be bothered.
I want
Steve.
to hear- I want to hear the rest.
This blows my mind. He doesn't know what this does to me. It's a mathematical problem.
I want to hear the rest.
well, it's just I just don't think it will happen.
What
I
do you mean you don't think it'll happen? Infinity works it out for you by definition.
Well, what's stopping them typing the same thing again?
They would. In fact, the problem should be if you had an infinite amount of time that it would type that works for Shakespeare an infinite amount of times and everything else an infinite amount of times. But you know, that's not as.
But not Shakespeare.
Oh! Shut up, you idiot!
Rick, do you know what he said to me? I said to him, I explained it to him, I said,
God.
you've got an infinite number of monkeys, infinite number of typewriters, they will type the complete works of Shakespeare. He said, have they read Shakespeare?
You're an idiot! Play a
I said
record, 'cause
no.
I'm not having this
They're not
conversation.
doing it from
I'm not having
memory.
it, because it really, really winds me up.
But you're saying they'll do it with no spelling errors.
Well, they do it an infinite amount of times. And they do it wrong an infinite amount of times. And they spell the last full stop wrong an infinite amount of times. And they get one thing wrong in Hamlet wrong an infinite amount of times. They do everything an infinite amount of times.
But are they going off a story that they've...
Play a record, Carl, because I'm going to knock you out!
I'm just saying,
Shut up!
do they know the story?
Oh,
They're monkeys!
Oh, Christ.
No,
Right, okay.
What's that?